Okay guys, this is Coach Eric here at Rockbox Morsel. The next exercise we're going to talk about is the overhead press. Now, my personal opinion is that this is the most important pressing movement you have. More important than your push-up, more important than your bench press. I know people are going to hate to hear that. But my personal opinion is that your overhead press is the most important pressing movement that you have. I'm going to show you how to do it with some dumbbells today. I'm also going to use like a pipe to mimic a barbell because they are a little bit different, but you have some freedom here in terms of like how you want to set yourself up. So if I'm doing an overhead press, there's two different kind of principles that I could go by. If you want more of a neutral shoulder position, you can keep your elbows kind of stacked in front of you, where I would say that the dumbbells are parallel to each other, right? From there, we'll just press straight overhead, focusing on keeping the belly tight and keeping our hands directly over the crown of our head, right? So we don't want to feel like, if we're looking at this from the side, we don't want to feel like our back is arching and our eyes are going up, right? And we don't want to feel like the dumbbells are going out in front of us or even back behind us, right? We want to be as strictly vertical as we can be, right? So if I'm moving with the dumbbells, like I say, you can be narrow here. You could come out wide and do your overhead press from here. Either one is fine. If you're using something more like a barbell, or in this case, it's just a PVC pipe, same ideas, right? We want to keep a position where our elbow is underneath our wrist. If our elbow gets behind our wrist, it's going to be very hard to hold onto the bar. And if our elbows get in front of our wrist, we're going to lose a little bit of grip. So if you're using a dumbbell or sometimes even a barbell, unless you're very experienced, you probably want to avoid that position. But same rules apply here. As we press up, we want to try and keep our belly tight. We want to try and move this bar or the dumbbell or whatever your weight is directly over the top of your head. If you feel like you're pushing in front of you, this is going to give problems for your shoulders. If you feel like you're pressing behind you, this can give problems to your shoulders or even your low back. And like I said earlier, if you feel like you're expanding and tightening as if your chin and your eyes are looking up, you're going to have a lot of compression in your vertebrae, which we don't want, right? So the hardest part about keeping that overhead press is that the belly still wants to stay tight like a plank. And a lot of people just lose that tension when they go into an overhead position. So like I said, this is probably the press that I consider the most important, just in terms of the ability to do the work. Not necessarily that it should be your heaviest lift, or by all means that you should be better at overhead presses than a push-up. But I just think that in terms of what your body should be capable of doing, it would be far more important to train your overhead positions than it is to train a push-up or something that happens in front of your face, because that particular movement tends to be a little bit more intuitive. So like I said, biggest check marks. Keep a shoulder position that's comfortable for you. That's going to be different for everybody. But as you go overhead, always remember to keep your eyes forward. Don't try and look up or you're going to extend your spine. And try and keep your belly as tight as you can. It's going to be hard, but it's really, really important for the spine stability and making sure that as you go overhead, we're stable underneath the bar or underneath the load, right? So by all means, guys, practice your overhead press. I wish you the best of luck. Thanks, guys.